It was a sunny day on the eve of the graduation ceremony, but without any meaning or warning, our main character fell out of consciousness, left his body, and fell into deep darkness. Soon he fell into hell, and there was no limit to his panic, because there were creepy monsters devouring each other in front of him. And this place was absolutely meaningless. It was soaked in blood, there was no sun, there was a terrible stench and unbearable temperature, but why was he here? This thought haunted him, and 10 days passed at such a pace. He was insanely hungry during this time, and all he could eat was rotting meat left by monsters. But even it was impossible to eat, so he ate with effort, because it tasted just awful, and it seemed to have already begun to rot, but he had to at least eat a little, otherwise he would have died of hunger. When he was carelessly eating meat, he was attacked by a huge monster, swinging his paw at him, but he missed his head and hit the nearest stones. So in order to survive, he had to fight with him, and as soon as he dealt with the monster, tears poured out of his eyes, because the guy really missed his family. It was the day of his stay in hell. In order to survive here, he decided to completely abandon humanity, so his new goal here was to kill all the monsters. On day, he killed a huge monster and lit a fire, then a strange inscription appeared before his eyes with a proposal to raise the level to the 3rd. The guy catches himself wondering if he has gone crazy. With these thoughts, he clicked on the system screen and raised his level to the 3rd. Since that moment, years have passed. During this time, he has pumped up to level, which allowed him to deal with any infernal creature without any problems alone. In the year of his life in hell, he received a sword from a steel knight, and with the help of this weapon, he calmly demolished the heads of these monsters. In this year, he killed a huge infernal monster, which is one of the bosses, which no one could do. In the year of survival in hell, he met with the most important in hell, the Demon King. It was he who dragged him to hell, so our main character dreamed of taking revenge for all the years he lived here. It was an incredibly difficult and long battle. The Demon King did not want to lose the battle to any man, because he did not possess any magical power, but one wrong move of the Demon King and his head is cut off by the sword of our protagonist. As soon as the Demon King remains decapitated, a special window appears in front of our hero, as in games, offering him to return to Earth to continue living his life, and of course our protagonist agrees. A bright light illuminates his face. When he wakes up, he sees a doctor shining a flashlight into his eyes. The guy is addressed by name. His name is Han Dae-sung. And he does not believe that this is really happening. The doctor warns that it will not be easy to move his limbs at first, but he hurries to calm his mother standing next to his bed. Because if the guy continues to receive rehabilitation treatment, he will get much better. At this time, his mother, with tears on her cheeks, sincerely thanks the doctor for the fact that the guy woke up thanks to the treatment. At this moment, the black-haired guy lying on the bed begins to yell furiously. The doctor tries to calm Han Dae-sung, but he does not hear him. The guy does not understand when he moved into reality, when he received a notification from the system, why he came out of the coma. Was it all a dream or a dream? Is this what is happening now? At this moment, Han Dae-sung shouts that no one should approach him, but without listening to his warning, the doctor was bitten by grabbing the doctor with his teeth. Right now, Han Dae-sung was most interested in what had been done to his body. Was it magic or was it a paralyzing poison? Why couldn't he move? The idea flashes in his head that this must be all a dream, just a terrible nightmare, Han Dae-sung thinks. At this moment, several more strong men burst into the room to calm the patient. They grab the exhausted guy by the hands, but he is not going to give up and orders them to let him go, otherwise he will kill everyone present. Han Dae-sung still can't believe he woke up in such a terrible body. But in a fit of anger, something else caught his attention, and then the rage on his face was replaced by concern. In the window, he saw yellow flashes of thunder and lightning in the clouds. This is a hellish wormhole, but what has she forgotten here? They put him on a cot, and the guy started to resist again, but soon they gave him an injection and administered a sedative, and with the words that he would kill everyone, he loses consciousness. At this time, the latest news is being reported on TV. Today at 9 o'clock in the morning, a mysterious heavenly gate opened over one of the districts in Seoul, but fortunately, a team of hunters was sent, and they took control of the nearest area. Currently, the hunters' mission is almost complete. In order to clear the area, one of the main hunters reports that it may take about another hour. The latest news was broadcast on the TE, which was in the ward. Han Dae-sung, through a dormant state, heard everything said on the news and could not understand why some hunters stumbled upon a dangerous wormhole. At that moment, an unknown guy in a suit entered the room and was happily surprised that his friend really woke up. But Han Dae-sung did not recognize the guy and asked who he was, but just a moment later he recognized his old friend Chang-ho in the unknown visitor. Chang-ho informs Han Dae-sung that all his relatives have been waiting for years, while the latter was lying unconscious in a coma. On the day he graduated from high school, he was full of energy, but suddenly, for no reason, Han Dae-sung fell, after which he lay in a hospital bed for about years. To some extent, Han Dae-sung is even glad that everything happened that way, and he didn't spend years fighting monsters in hell. Chang-ho informs Han Dae-sung that while he was unconscious, his mother worked very hard because of his long sick leave, and she even had to get 2 jobs. Soon, mom rolls her son out for a walk, saying that the weather is great today, but his thoughts are occupied with something else entirely, because in hell he got a chance to get a chance at life, no matter how strange it sounds. In hell he fought for a chance to survive and return to his body, but in reality here he must take responsibility for his family and help her. Despite the fact that he cannot stand up on his own, and this disadvantage can bring him a lot of trouble, as it can become a heavy burden for his family. There is no less cruelty in this reality than in the real hell, and at this moment his mother stops and turns pale. Their path was blocked by the mafia from whom she borrowed money for her son's treatment, but for the 2nd year she has not given it away. Today was day X, when she was supposed to give the whole amount, but due to the fact that she did not answer the phone, they came to see her themselves. They begin to beat Han Dae-sung's mother and explain that when they borrow someone else's money, they need to be returned on time. Today they are not going to talk to her politely. This time the helpless mother started crying and asking them not to do it with the child. She really promises to return the money next month and asks the mafia to let them go, but the man is not going to put up with empty promises anymore, so he punches Han Dae-sung's mother in the face. At that moment, Han Dae-sung, sitting in a wheelchair, could not stand what was happening, and called the 2 mafia men cursed bastards and insects. The mafia pretends that they heard it, but when Han Dae-sung repeats the curses again, they take him by the collar and lift him as high as possible from the ground. The mother in tears asks Han Dae-sung to apologize and tries to justify him to the bandits, but Han Dae-sung does not let up and continues to insult the vile bandits. One of the mafiosi decides to show which of them is a real insect, after which he throws Han Dae-sung to the ground and decides to show how they deal with insects. According to the bandit, insects need to be crushed, and he begins to trample and kick the defenseless young man. While Han Dae-sung is being beaten, he reproaches himself for the fact that his body is in such a deplorable state, because if it were not for this, it would have turned out to be a very easy fight for him. The tearful mother tries to stop what is happening, but to no avail. The man continues to beat the boy, but to no avail. He demands that he call him again if he is not afraid, but the guy continues to mentally call him names, because if they were in hell now, there would be nothing left of the mafia for a long time. At this moment, a long-forgotten system screen appears in front of Han Dae-sung. She invites him to take a divine test. The guy's eyes lit up with hope. He no longer paid attention to everything that was happening. He was only interested in the divine quest with a suddenly appeared window of choice. His doubts were short-lived, because these windows were the only thing that helped him survive in hell for all 80 years. The quest was accepted. He did not immediately understand what was happening. For some reason everything froze, and after a while a task appeared that he accepted. It is called body restoration. The difficulty level of this quest is the lowest, All he needs to do is to get to the specified destination in 1 hour. As a reward, he will be given medicine to restore his ideal condition as well as percent to health. The guy was very surprised if his body could really be returned to its previous state. A red sign appeared in front of him notifying him that he had to overcome meters to this point. Han Dae-sung still doesn't believe that he needs to overcome meters and tries to crawl. He says that he will get to this place, no matter what it costs him. Even if he crawls, the main thing is that he will be returned to his former state. Through suffering and pain, the guy continued to crawl with all his might. It's hard for him to believe that the one who defeated everyone in hell can barely cope with such a trifle.